Hey guys, Danelle here, DPU 777 in Pokemon Go. So today we're gonna do some Go Battle League Love Cup edition, and I have as lead Sunny CASTFORM, Medicham XL. He's not all the way to level 50, and it's actually funny because he was rank 6 before I hit. Before there was the XL Candy, but he's now like rank like 500 plus. Because he's a wild catch and 96%. And then I have Alamamola. I think I said that right. So yeah, this team is actually done really well for me. I did hit veteran before I went to, before it changed back to Love Cup. And after I hit veteran, I went all the way down to 2380, and I used this exact team, and I'm now back up all the way to 2690 elo range. So it's been amazing, and this team does have some weaknesses, as you guys will see. So let's go back to the battles and go to our first one. We have Scolipede versus CASTFORM. This is a very good matchup for CASTFORM. CASTFORM is not really too glassy. It actually has pretty high HP for the Great League. So here's Alamamola. The fish, the really high HP fish versus also the same high HP fish. But right here he has no more shield, and my opponent is in a losing position because I can just shield this psychic and go for my own psychic at the end. And yeah, so that was a good game for myself and good game opponent. I didn't invest in a secondary move for Alamamola because there's no point of using Hydro Pump, honestly. And here we have Talonflame, and I'm not sure if it's this one, but there was a Talonflame that Brave Birded me because I didn't know how many moves it was before it hit Brave Bird. So I believe it's 7 fast moves before a Brave Bird comes on. So here's fire versus fire. He keeps flame charging me, so I do the same thing. I weather ball. I don't shield the last flame charge. I want to see what he does here if he wants to win switch. So he does want to win switch. So what I quickly do is I try to get to the next weather ball, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. And I know I'm gonna go to Alamamola, and they quickly switch to Wigglytuff. And here I thought I was gonna lose because they switched to a Charmer, and I switched to my Medicham because I didn't really see what was going on right here. But they let go of the Psychic, which was super interesting. It would have probably meant that they probably had another Fire or something else that was weak against Alamamola, but he had double Charmer. So my Alamamola now has 2 shields, and my opponent at this time is in 100% winning position. And right here is where they kind of mess up. They should have just charmed me down, but for some reason they went back to Talonflame, and that's where I gained more energy. And I think what they were trying to do is for me to use my psychic, so they weren't able to get my moveset correct. So I didn't get to my psychic before they switched. So good game opponent. Right here is Charmer lead. So Charmer lead is okay against with CASTFORM. A little bit of lag, but I just keep hitting Weather Ball on the Charmer. I just wanted to see if they're gonna shield it or not. They did shield the first one, and as you can see, the Charmer just like was gone. I quickly switched since they have a Slowbro to my Alamamola, and Psychic is neutral against Alamamola, so this will definitely hit a lot of HP. But also my own psychic, even though it's not very effective against Slowbro, is gonna hit a lot since the shadow. So right there, it does hit quite. It chunked a little bit of health right there. I let this go, and I believe I go to my Medicham just to farm it down. We're both, well, his confusion is hitting a lot, but it's not super effective. And at the back is an Electrode. So I know that 4 fast moves for Electrode is Discharge now, and 5 fast moves. If you guys remember, 5 fast moves is Hyper Beam. And I'll never forget it because I did get Hyper Beam with the sets before yesterday when the Love Cup started. So I'll never forget that 5 fast moves from Electrode is Hyper Beam, and Hyper Beam is extremely strong in the cup. Right here, I did have a Weather Ball stored, so I was hoping that my CASTFORM Sunny was higher CMP than Electrode, which now I know it is. So here is Macargo versus CASTFORM, and this is not good because I believe that's a Rock Throw, and which is super effective against fire. And I do try and hit a Weather Ball, and I honestly just wanted to see how bad a Weather Ball would be against the Macargo. And here they kind of switch a little bit late, so I did hit a little bit more HP on the Macargo. So I go to Psychic right here for against the Medicham, and they go for their own Psychic, and I'm thinking maybe I should not shield, and it's not a Psychic, it's a Dynamic Punch. So I'm like, okay, so it doesn't have Power Up Punch, so I think that's okay for now. I know that my CASTFORM already is into Weather Ball range, so I wanted to see if they're gonna shield. So they shielded that one, so my Medicham basically has to sweep this team, but they have no shields and I have 2 shields already. So I knew I wanted to do this because they had Dynamic Punch, and Dynamic Punch is not very effective. But here I counted it correctly. He already had his Psychic right there. And at the back is a Scolipede, you guys. So Psychic is a one-shot dream. And it took it out. Like, it was like a little bug that just like left the field right there. And it was over because Macargo gets super effective damage from counters. So I already had one more, one more shield, and that was awesome because the Ice Punch is not very effective, but it's so low, the Macargo, that it was game over. So good game to my opponent right there. So next we have Slowbro 2021 glasses, and this is interesting matchup. I actually switched quickly to Alamomola. But in hindsight, I didn't have to really switch because it didn't have Water Gun, so nothing was super effective. So I could have just stayed, but the Weather Balls wouldn't have done anything against Slowbro. But they didn't switch to like Electrode or any counters like Seeking for Alamomola, so I probably knew that they were kind of weak to water at the back, so that's what was my thinking. But I just let Alamomola just die because I didn't want to spend another like shield for it. And this Slowbro is literally like sweeping my team, and here I undercharge because I want to get really close to my charge moves as fast as possible. They have a Talonflame at the back, and Talonflame is actually pretty interesting Pokemon. And here I'm thinking like, oh gosh, how am I gonna survive anything? Like if he Brave Birds me, it's game over. And they keep flame charging themselves. But the thing is with flame charge on a Talonflame is good if they are in high HP, but against a cast form is like 50-50, because as you can see, like we're both like almost the same amount of fast move damage is the same. So I get to my weather ball as fast as possible. He catches a weather ball on a Scolipede, which I think was a big mistake for him, because now my cast form is getting so much farm, and right here this weather ball just real chunked this Talonflame. So he lost the attack boost, and he caught a weather ball on his Scolipede, which I mean, in hindsight, it was what happened with him, but it was pretty lucky that his back end was very weak to cast form right there. So now I have Macargo, and now I understand that Macargo does beat cast form. So I quickly switch. I do save a weather ball, but they have an Electrode. An Electrode is a very good Pokemon in the Love Cup, because there's not many ground, or is there even any ground Pokemons? I don't think I've seen any ground Pokemons. Yeah, I don't think I've seen any ground Pokemons that are in the Love Cup, except Seaking does have Drill Run, but honestly Seaking is like 3 legacy moves, so I'm not sure if people want to spend that much for just one cup. So Electro quickly goes down because I do have an answer for it, which is CASTFORM and Medicham, but they have their Scolipede right here. I do have to shield because even though X Scissor does not do that much damage, it will probably chunk a little bit of my health. And unfortunately, I think for this match, my opponent lags, I believe. Yeah, my opponent lags. So yeah, my opponent lags and it's not even on the, it's not even playing. So I don't know if they were AFK or they left or what, but hey, a win is a win. So I would probably have still won that game anyway. Even though they had 2 shields, they would have had to spend 1 shield to get rid of my Psychic, but I still had so much health for the rest of my Pokemon. So yeah, this wouldn't have mattered. They probably would had left because they realized that my both CASTFORM Sunny and Medicham had good damage against their opponent. Their Pokemon. So quickly switch. They go to Electrode to try and. I mean, I didn't have to switch, but I had to conserve the CASTFORM against Vileplume, because CASTFORM does wall Vileplume a lot, and Electrode versus Medicham is actually 50-50 depending on the shields and the shield baits that happen. So I just keep using Ice Punch on it because I know for sure they're gonna shield. So both their shields are gone. I'm gonna let my Medicham go, but their Electrode goes before my Medicham. So they go for Vileplume, and they have a Lomomola at the back. You guys will see a big Solar Beam right here. This Solar Beam, I believe one-shots. Yeah, it one-shots the fish. So if you guys can imagine the Solar Beam one-shot right there. And I think that was a mistake because I didn't really count the, what do you call it? The fast moves on Vileplume. I don't really know the fast moves on Vileplume. I could have just went to Alomomola and possibly caught a charge move on the Medicham, but that was game over anyways. So another Vileplume lead. They go to a Medicham, I go with my own Medicham. Let's see their CP. I believe their CP was higher than mine. Yeah, so their Medicham is probably level 50 or close to level 50. Man, is that a really high Medicham? Yeah, so I go for Psychic, especially on mirror matches. You do want to go for Psychic. It does a lot more damage and it's kind of neutral. But my opponent has Power Up Punch and Ice Punch on their Medicham. which is also good in the Love Cup because it does hit a lot on for what do you call it, for normal Pokemons. So I do have a lot of stored energy on that, and I go for my Ice Punch on Vileplume. I get their shield, so now I have the switch that I want. So CASTFORM will go against Vileplume, and I think I will let this go, and I think it was a Sludge Bomb. Is this a Sludge Bomb? It is a Sludge Bomb. So Sludge Bomb does do a lot of damage, but it's not enough to KO. And this Weather Ball will definitely KO Vileplume, and he lets that go, and it's an Electrode at the back. And unfortunately, my Alomomola, I have to let this go. Yeah, I basically have to let this go. It can take one discharge, and yeah, right here it was game over because they still had a shield, and this was my only loss for that set. And yeah, it was game over. I mean, it was close, but Electrode at the back, it was, yeah. And here I could have, in hindsight, I could have caught the last discharge on my CASTFORM, but I didn't really count it towards the end side, so I mean, I could have won that, but good game to my opponent because he got the win. And it's a Camera, and that is super spicy because I don't even think I have that Pokemon. So Camera versus CASTFORM Sunny. He let go of his Camera, which is really interesting because he didn't even use any of the charge move, and this Psychic will one-shot the Scolipede if he lets it go. So he shields, and any of Scolipede's moves are just basically neutral against Alomomola. So I let this one go as well because I know that my CASTFORM can basically defeat this Scolipede, and I get to a Psychic at the very end, which was super good. So I let this go. I win switch. So now what I'm gonna do is go for Medicham. Yeah, I go for Medicham because super effective against Macargo, and it's game over. Yeah, my opponent cannot deal with anything. There is a very strong weakness against this team, is probably a Charmer lead and whatnot, but if I do play today and have that weakness, I can show it to you guys. So here we have a Medicham lead. My CASTFORM is doing a lot of damage right there, and I let go of the Psychic because I want to go super low, and I hit him with the Weather Ball to see if they're gonna shield or not, and they do shield. So I quickly switched to my own Medicham. So I now have what do you call it? I now have shield advantage, and they're staying in. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna keep farming down the Medicham and just gonna preserve my energy. And I'm already at almost double Psychic, and this double Psychic on the Talonflame is extremely strong. So he lets go of his first Psychic, his defense falls, and he has to shield this just to conserve energy, but he doesn't shield it, and he lets it go, and it's a Scrafty at the back. And Scrafty against like double shield, I still have Alomomola at the back, and this is like game over for my opponent. I already have double shield, and I'm just gonna shield anything that comes out, and he goes for foul play, but yeah, it's game over. I mean, he had one shield, but the counter is doing too much damage. So there you guys, that was 4 out of 5, well, 9 wins out of 10. And I hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.